We've got an email question. Let's go ahead and take that one. Let's see. If a nursing home, let's get to that one. I had it here just a moment ago. Yes, sir. If a nursing home, there's it right up your alley here, nursing home hires a company to take residents to doctor's appointments and someone is injured, hey, that's me.
Right.
Along the way, who is responsible, the transport company or the nursing home? And that's Lila. So let's talk about this. I mean, we have nursing homes. First of all, residents have to go to their doctor's appointments sometimes, right? So if the family can't take them, sometimes there's an independent transportation company. Some nursing homes have their own shuttles and take them back and forth to the doctor's appointments or whatever. How does that work out? You know, first of all, how does somebody get to utilize a service like that in a nursing home, and how does that typically work? And then I'll talk about the injury side of it.
Right, because this is like a twofer.
It's a twofer. Lila,
yeah.
thank you. You hit us both there.
They like them. So yeah, one of the things that's a major important thing as folks get older is how do we take care of mom and dad? Or how do I take care of myself as I'm getting older? If you have some assets, there are mechanisms in the law that you can set up that will do a couple different things. One is primarily you want to get the best care you can find. Then you look at affordability, right? And when you're looking at affordability, you have to look at how much you have, assets-wise, but also what may be available, either through insurance that you may have bought. Long-term care insurance is something always to start looking at as you get a little older, as well as government benefits. And what we can usually do is in the government benefits range, a lot of folks may qualify for Medicare as they get older, and those benefits, even Medicare and Medicaid, kind of overlaps into paying for some of your nursing home care. There is a cap on how much you're allowed to have as an asset, and there's a cap on how much income you have each month. But there are legal entities you can create, and you can put things in different names and title them so that you can qualify for those benefits as well, even while keeping a lot or sometimes all of your assets, and it still goes to your care. Now, once you're in the home, I think that's where we hand off and say, uh-oh, now we're getting on a bus going to see a doctor.
You're ready to pass. You're ready to pass.
Yeah,
the
well,
puck.
you throw it back to me when you're ready. But that's
so pass the puck over this way as we're using tonight, since we had the midwinter classic. Here we go. Lila, it depends on where you are, and it depends on whether or not the person who is being driven, or to the nursing home, whether or not they own an automobile, for instance. So in the state of Florida, if you are being transported from a nursing home and you happen to have an automobile yourself, then the PIP, no-fault coverage, would still cover you in the transportation through a bus or some other type of service that goes through that. It's called the no-fault system, so the first $10,000 will be covered under your PIP. Or there could be something called medical payments coverage, again under an automobile policy that the resident may own. If the resident doesn't have any type of insurance, then we look to the van or the transportation company first. You look to them first to see, all right, well, do they have med pay coverage? Do they have, were they at fault? Was somebody else at fault? If somebody else was at fault, we're going to look to find out if they had uninsured or underinsured motorist coverage. We're going to look to see if that person that harmed them, that caused the accident, had bodily injury coverage. We don't know if that's the van company in this example or if it's the other party who's there. And then sometimes we will actually look to the facility. And the times that we look to the facility is to say, in selecting the transportation company, if the transportation company is a third party, was there some type of negligent hiring or supervision or training of that particular driver? And the same thing at the nursing home, was there any negligent hiring, supervision, training of that driver in transporting the person? You can't just say, oh, here are the keys to the 15-person van, and this is how you lock somebody in with a wheelchair. You have to do some things. You have to take some positive steps to make sure that the driver is properly trained and they can get from point A to point B, and they watch out and take defensive driving. So that's, I think, the best answer we can give you. So assets can set it up, you can do it, and then coming back.
If you do get a settlement, which if you hire Perry and Young, you're most likely going to prevail.
I hope so, yep.
We can't guarantee results, but they got pretty good records, But if you do get a settlement out of that, you then that may throw you up out of these qualifications again, and now your nursing home coverage comes into question. And there are certain ways we can set it up with different special needs kind of trust.
There's a special trust that we can do.
All kind of stuff.
And that's one of the things. Frankly, in dealing with people that have either been in a nursing home or got a nursing home, And if they get a lump sum of money or they're entitled to a lump sum of money, what happens? And then I come to you for a supplemental needs trust or a special needs trust that helps define those benefits and allows the benefits to be there and allow them to keep all of their government benefits available to them.
Yeah, everything that they're entitled to. Yeah.
So there are ways around it. And even if they're income-based, we can separate it out where it doesn't qualify for an income calculation. We've got a caller from Defuniak. Let's go ahead and get that. We've got Levon. Levon, how are you doing this evening? And how can we help you?
Hello.
Hi there.
I'm calling. I have stage 4 cancer. I moved up to Defuniak Springs recently, and I made up a will I typed out and had it notarized by people at my bank for that they can have all my belongings in my home. I have no family members. So I was wondering if that's legal enough.
Okay, Levon. So first of all, I'm very sorry that you've got cancer, and one of these things that we talk about, there's some other documents that need to be concerned about other than a will. Levon, the will only transfer the assets upon your death and the way that you do it. Whether you pulled something down from the internet, I always caution people about using internet forms because they may not comply with Florida's rules. You may want to just reach out to somebody like John to at least take a look over it, make sure that it meets with our Florida requirements. Make sure that you have the proper witnesses, make sure you have the proper notaries, make sure that you gave away what you wanted to give away. But let's talk about that now.
Right.
What are some of the other things that Levon may need here in her final stages since she has cancer?
Yeah, and I'm sorry to hear about that, Levon, but I am glad you're thinking ahead, and I know that your loved ones will too. And obviously, the main thing you want to do now is appreciate them and love on them. But moving forward to these documents, the will, like Larry said, you just want to probably have a lawyer just look at it. And a lot of lawyers around here, I mean, people who work with Larry and Chris and the guys over there, they're going to look at it for you. Just to, they may not charge you. There's folks around that can do that, and I'm happy to do that for you, folks as well, if that's something you want to do. But there are certain criteria that a Florida will has to meet. So that's what we could advise you on. Beyond that, there are healthcare documents that you would probably want to create at this point too. And basically it's something, the main thing is, if you want to tell somebody how long they want to treat you, what is the life-saving measures when you're in the hospital and you really can't communicate anymore. There's a document called a healthcare surrogate or a healthcare power of attorney, some people call it. You say on that document, this is the person that I want to be able to speak for me if I can't speak for myself. And those are very, very important, very helpful as well, because it may be something where you're both in and out of ability to speak. And so if it's something that they can, you're not gone yet, we can help you out. We will get you back and have several more years of life. Don't pull the plug, as it were. This person will know that. You've talked with them, and then there's a legal document that the hospital and the doctors can look at, and they'll be very happy that you have it.
And so it's a healthcare directive, and you mentioned that you didn't have really any family or anybody really that you trust to do things for you. You can actually make your doctor or your primary care doctor that person to make those decisions, but you need to have that document in order to give good, clear communication to your doctor or to the person who's going to be making that decision. And let me give you, for instance, this past week I had a client, and that client had a healthcare directive. And remarkably, in the healthcare directive, it said he did not want any life-saving measures, any life-saving activities to be done. He was injured away from his home. The hospital didn't have that, and they saved his life. And now he's better, and he's getting better. To say he went through hell would be an understatement. He did. He went through an awful lot. He was in induced coma, et cetera. And had they had that healthcare directive, he would not have gone through all that. And that would have been his decision and his directive to do that. Because the hospital didn't have that, and the person who had his healthcare surrogacy was from out of state, the hospital did. They asked him, and he said, yes, I want to be intubated, where in his healthcare directive, he said he did not want to be intubated. It may have been different. So, please make sure that the communication is clear, and your answer could be a final answer. So please make sure that you have done that and you are well aware of the decisions you're making. In the past, I've actually had a client say, I do not even want saline. I begged the client, you know, I want to be sure. She says, absolutely, when I go to the hospital, if this is the situation, I do not even want saline. So there's a wide variety of measures. My wife, on the other hand, she says, back up the diesel generator, get the truck, get the tanker,
Keep
do
us
everything
going.
you can to keep me alive. And so those are the two extremes,
Yeah.
and only you can make that decision,
Right.
and you need to do it while you have that moment of clarity.